Welcome to Southwest Florida Real Estate Update, hosted by area realtor Jim York and York Real Estate Group of Downing Fry Realty. Our show will bring you the most up-to-date information about the local real estate market, featuring leading experts in the real estate field.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael York with the York Real Estate Group in Naples, Florida, and welcome to the Southwest Florida Real Estate Update. Today with our host Jim York and his guest John Hillman, VP of Sales and Marketing at Talis Park.
John, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I know you're new to the area, so let's just give our audience a little background about yourself.
It's a bit of a tale. I've had one of the more intrepid real estate careers. I actually started in 2004 in Dallas, Texas, and we were launching residences at the Ritz-Carlton and a beautiful piece of property in uptown Dallas. And my career has taken me from there to the Bahamas, to the Hawaiian Islands. You're going to feel really sorry for me.
Wow,
And then the Cayman Islands, and I was there helping build a new town. And then about 3 years ago, I was introduced to the team for Kitson and Partners. And so I moved down here about 3 years ago.
Is there any reason you like the warm climate?
You know, it's kind of one of those jobs they don't advertise in college, you know, but I was willing to listen, and I have a very patient wife that likes to travel, and my family as well. So
Well, that's good.
it's been a great journey.
Well, you're here to talk about Talis Park, and I'm excited about it, and I know Michael is, and I know our community is, to see it up and running. And so maybe you just give our audience a little background of where it started.
Sure.
And now where it's just taken off.
Well, it starts in early 2011 when Kitson and Partners acquired the property. As most people know, it had a really interesting history with WCI. Started the property in 03, 04, and invested a considerable amount of dollars. Upwards of $200 million went into that ground, and those old tomato fields raised about 8 feet across 400 acres, which is really amazing. And then they brought in one of the most remarkable golf courses I think this area has ever seen, which I'd love to talk to you about, and a lot of public infrastructure. And so we had this great palette in 2011, but we felt like it needed a change. And so we changed the name, we changed some of the programming of what was going to go in it. And after about a year and a half of sort of looking at the market, and back in 11, it wasn't like the market was even beginning to come back, it was just still there. In the fall of 12, we kicked off an effort to resuscitate what was then called Tuscany Reserve, and we branded it Talis Park. And it's been a nice, steady climb over the last 3 years that we have gone from, literally that first fall, we did 12 sales, and last year in 14, we did 94 sales. And it's just steady as you go with what we're doing there. And we're really proud of the sort of turnaround. Everybody loves a turnaround story.
Right.
And we started with a really great palette, and we've kind of made it our own, and our owners are recognizing sort of the difference that's been created there.
Absolutely. Well, you already hit on this, John, but why don't you give us a little background as well about the people behind Talis Park, Kitson and Partners, and what makes them unique?
Sure. Sid Kitson, our CEO and chairman, has a bit of a history of turning around clubs. On the East Coast, there was a property, Ibis Country Club, 3 Nicholas golf courses, and he took that club at a sort of a rocky stage, and he completely turned it into a great success story. And Talis Park isn't new to Sid. He had his eye on it for years. And when WCI in the first scenario occurred, we weren't successful in buying the property, but the third time we were. Sometimes you like to be the third hotelier or developer and things work out. So Kitson and Partners is a Palm Beach Garden-based development firm. We're funded by the state of Washington's pension fund. And it's a very sizable fund. It's a $95 billion pension fund. And they put roughly $5 billion into a real estate allocation. And there's a fiduciary in Chicago that we work through who disperses those funds to developers literally around the world. And what's interesting is you think about it, at the end of the day, we're going to give monies that's going to help a teacher and a firefighter get their pension funds. So there's a big responsibility and a very conservative nature about how money flows. And the way we operate is there's no debt on our property. We pay cash for the land, we're paying cash for our clubhouse, and we just operate in a very pragmatic way. So anyway, that's a little bit about us. We have Taos Park as an asset that we manage and run. We have 20,000 acres up in Punta Gorda, Babcock Ranch, which a lot of people have read about.
Right.
And then we've got other properties under contract in the state of Florida. But we really just operate in the state of Florida. And ironically, the headquarters is on the East Coast, but all the projects are on the West Coast.
They're smart. So, let's just go into the product that you have there that you're offering. I think it's quite different than what we had in the beginning stages with other developers. So maybe start with there for our viewers.
Sure. Okay. Just to give a little context, it's Taos Park is 461 acres.
Okay.
And it's in North Naples. And I think you always begin with the fundamentals in real estate of location should matter. And what we like to talk to people about is in a 10-minute drive, you can get to every restaurant, every major amenity that you want to spend your time in, and then the airport's like 22 minutes away, depending on how fast you drive and the traffic. But so convenience matters, and being on the west side of 75 we think matters too, so I can get to the beach in 10 minutes. And then when you look at what we've created, we're not going to be the biggest luxury community in Naples. We have no aspiration to be the biggest, but we want to be just right. And so what we spend a lot of time talking about with people is that design should matter, that if we're going to talk about architecture and design, it should feel pure. So we have an Italian palette that matches what was there before us. Kind of broaden that perspective to allow a Spanish mission or a California mission flavor in. We call it Spanish eclectic. And then, if you look in Old Naples, a lot of the redos are a sort of, Caribbean colonial flavor that comes in.
Right.
We think they're all nice cousins that can live on a street from an architecture perspective. So the first thing we did is we broadened the palette. The other thing that we did is we broadened the product mix. Taos Park or Tuscany Reserve originally was set to be a very low density major single family development. For us to feel like the club can be financially viable, that people can have a choice, we made the mix broader. So literally today, from about $700,000 to about $10 million, you have a real estate offering that you can pick from. And sometimes those increments are $50 or $70 or $100,000 at a time. So people, depending on whatever budget thresholds they establish, have great choice at Taos Park. And then sort of this, oh, by the way, we got one of the most interesting golf courses in Naples there. The way it's manicured and the way it plays, that's a big draw. So and then sort of lastly is the way the land plan works at Taos Park. Our club facility we call Vine House sits in the middle of the property. And when you live there, and a lot of our owners, as you might imagine, are only there a few months of the year, they don't want to have to get in a car to go somewhere. So they can walk to things at Taos Park. They can ride their bikes, and we highly encourage people to use their golf carts. So as I sort of say, experientially, you can divorce yourself from your car and you can really just enjoy everything around you.
And when we talk about buying a home there, where do we start if we take a client in there? I know you have the coach homes or villas, or so just maybe talk about that a little bit.
Yep. So it kind of begins with a basic question. Do you want to live in the village or do you want to live in a park setting? And within that, there's homes for sale and there's condos for sale. So we start with, in the single family world, we have a neighborhood called Il Corso at Watercourse. And this is a really interesting product set. Think of it as almost like courtyard homes on the water. You can live there and literally in 45 seconds you're hitting a golf ball in the driving range. In a minute and a half you're walking to the clubhouse. WCI is building a really interesting product called Carrera. And they've been successful building that type of product in other communities here. So they came in as a builder at Taos Park, and they're building a really wonderful street of 90 condos, ranging from the upper 600s to now the mid 900s, depending on if you look north or south. And then we get into sort of the classic single family opportunities. There's golf course views from 3,000 to 5,000 square feet, from probably $1.3 million to $2 million. And then we have two estate neighborhoods. One neighborhood called Prado, or half-acre home sites. You can build 5,000 to 10,000 square foot homes there. You probably see prices between $2 and $4 million on that street. And then we have this really, really interesting enclave called Ferenz. And Ferenz has a secondary gate system. It literally is within seconds of the clubhouse. But the view corridors are over often many fairways, and the home sites are an acre or more. which is very rare in this marketplace. So we like to call that almost a little bit of both, living in the village and living in the park, because you get the long views, you get the privacy, but then you get the convenience of walking to the clubhouse. And we're very fortunate. We've got a couple families that have come in there and started developing homes, and one family's full-time. So it's nice for that vibrancy to start seeing some of that activity.
Absolutely. Well, you hit on a couple of the people already, John, but with WCI, but who are some other builders that are building in Talis Park currently?
So the roster is probably, we need a show just for that, but we have 15 builders at Talis Park.
15, okay.
And it's important for us that the experience is very custom, very tailored to an end user. So you may not see some of the household production builders that maybe we're familiar with, but names you'll recognize in this market: Harborside Homes, Jerry Colton has built over 500 homes in this marketplace across many different areas. Fox Custom Builders is one of our preferred builders. SunWest Homes is another builder that's there doing a lot of great work. McGarvey, Gulf Shore Homes is there. And then we have some specialty builders. Distinctive Communities is building that courtyard home, and Dave Sturdivant and his partner Steve Fitterman have been doing this in other neighborhoods here for 20 plus years.
That's right, Dave.
So we've got this really great team of builders, but back to the first thing I talked to you about, which is design matters. We've got John Cooney doing great design work, Bill Weber, Dan Sater, I'm going to forget, Hersko Hajar has done great work for us.
They do.
So, and then you go into the interior design world. So the Clive Daniel team, the Design West team, the Lisa Ficara, a whole range of talented interior design teams have been in there. So for us, it's a lot about collaboration. We don't want to see anything you've seen before. We're trying to create new and exciting offerings.
Well, John, we're going to take a little short break here, and we're going to be right back, okay?
Okay.
When picking a realtor, don't just pick anyone. Pick someone with experience. Pick someone with a proven track record. Pick a realtor like Jim York from Downing Fry Realty, the #1 brokerage with the most real estate transactions in the area.
My husband and I had very specific ideas about what we wanted in our new home. Jim York was able to help us find the home that was ideal for us.
With over 20 years of real estate experience in Southwest Florida, Jim York has negotiated over $200 million in sales contracts. Selecting the right realtor is a critical decision that can earn you thousands when selling or save you thousands when buying.
Jim also helped us with a mortgage lender and a good real estate attorney. He went that extra mile, and his experience says it all.
Call Jim York for a no-obligation meeting at 239-273-6727 or visit his website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Welcome back. Okay, Michael.
John, what makes the lifestyle at Talis Park so much different from some of the other premier communities that people may be familiar with in town as well?
Well, it comes in many levels. There's sort of this intangible that when you come and you meet some of the people there, whether it's key staff or what I like to think in our sales center, you get a feeling that things are a little bit different. And we recognize that today's buyer isn't their parents. You know, they made their money differently. They socialize and entertain differently. And so why should their club experience not be a good bit different? We find that, and there's a lot of conversation in the marketplace, that being more casual and comfortable is important. We want things to be highly approachable. And so, you know, we almost did this on purpose, that we wrote denim into our bylaws that said you could go into your clubhouse in your jeans, and half the time the jeans people wear are more expensive than most of the slacks we wear. And you put some Jimmy Choo shoes on the ladies and it's really getting expensive. So it's not that there's any less formality to it. It's just we want people to come comfortably. So we like to say come as you are. And if you look at one of our eateries that we have, what's called Fiona's Cafe, you know, you can come in your jeans, your workout clothes, come with your kids, your dogs, or just come however you are, because we want the club experience to be relevant to everyday life and to be part of that. And then there's this sort of just this general idea that you have to want new construction. You want to be part of something that's new and growing. And so one of the things we often talk about with people, are you that kind of buyer that it all has to be done before you want to jump in? Or do you like to kind of jump in and make new friends every week, and you want to be part of a social circle that's new and forming? So it's kind of two buyers. It's somebody who might be brand new to Naples, doesn't know anybody, or they've been in Naples,
Right.
and they're kind of ready for a new experience. And so we offer that. And I think there's this real camaraderie that's been developed. And many of my property owners actually take sales calls from me, and they're kind of funny about it. They become ambassadors, and they'll take a call, and then they'll call me a week later and ask how the deal's going. And so that gets kind of interesting. But they're very supportive of it, and they're excited about it. So.
And John, that leads us into the lifestyle and what you're going to be building there, or what's already there. So maybe touch base on the fitness center and the little restaurant that you have there,
Yeah.
and what's under construction also.
So today we have 70 completed homes at Talis Park, 70 front doors. Most of them are single-family homes. And I've got another 40 or 50 that are under construction.
Right.
And then I've got another 40 that bought land and they're getting ready to build. One thing we do as well is we compel people, you have to buy the land and start building your home within a year. And I think that's been good for owners to know that their neighbors won't sit idle for a long time.
That's right.
So the club experience today with 70 owners, there's a $20 million golf course, there's 2 restaurants, a spa, and a very nice fitness facility. But because of this momentum over the last year and a half, we've been authorized now to start building the clubhouse. And we put the shovels in the ground in October, and that's been commenced since that time, with the delivery of that clubhouse at the end of this year. We actually call our clubhouse Vine House. And we did that on purpose because we wanted it to be something very different, that you could go there for a lot of different reasons. You can go for a workout and you don't have to go in the basement and find the workout center. It's actually at the front door.
That's right,
It's
Right.
different. And so we're going to expand the physical fitness presence. We have another area that's being added. And we're adding about 35,000 square feet to about 7,000 square feet that's there today. So we're anticipating this growth of our community, and so we're going to add in formal dining. One of the neat things that will happen when you come through the front door of Vine House is there's this open courtyard almost in the middle of the building with little cafe string lights.
That's
And
right.
you can imagine when the sun goes down that people are going to go in there and listen to live music and have drinks with friends, and they could have a casual dinner there. They could move 20 feet into the formal dining area and have a 4 or 5 course meal. They could then move beyond that to this outdoor lanai space overlooking the 18th green and have a meal or drinks. And then our bar, that we're never going to call the 19th hole, has a wine tasting room of 20 seats, all glass enclosed. We anticipate having wonderful wine programs and maybe private reserves that owners keep there that they can enjoy. And then we have a luxury resort-style pool area as well. So this Vine House is something that might entice you breakfast, lunch, or dinner several times a week. And we think that's good for the consumer. It's also great for the club, so that long term it's going to be financially viable because people are going to want to use it. So.
And maybe just touch base on the staff, even in the golf area and
Sure.
even in the restaurant area or the fitness area, if you could.
No, happy to. And it starts with a gentleman named Butch Stewart.
Right.
Butch has been there since the beginning of time.
He has. He's a real good guy.
Great guy, great pedigree. He's been doing this for 30 years, and he talks about having like Subway sandwiches with Greg Norman on the back of his helicopter when they were designing the golf course.
Right.
And so Butch has got the history of the place, but he's got this incredible. He's like this great hotelier. You know, he knows how to take care of people and treat them right. And in many cases, they anticipate what you want before you even ask for it. He just gets to know people so well. So Butch starts this sort of ethos and this idea of hospitality. And then another gentleman that is critical to the success of Talis Park is Kevin Shields, our superintendent. He's got the green thumb. He's what makes the place. He and his team are doing an amazing job there. And then on the golf staff, Dave Witt came from Firestone. Has been in and out of Florida for some time, and he's been there now for several years. But Dave and his team, handle the golf operations, and they love to take care of people. And it's you wouldn't be surprised to see Dave giving a golf lesson, ringing somebody up at the cash register, and he's giving somebody some food at the table. He just does whatever's needed to take care of people. So I really respect the team that we have, and our culinary team is really starting to take off. So Anna Peterson, who came from the Ritz-Carlton, and she's opened up several restaurants in her career. This is what she does, and she is just the sort of call her the epitome of grace. When there's a crazy moment, she's just as calm as can be because she's done this for decades. And then we have Chef Andrew now, and Chef has got a great passion for this sort of farm to table movement, and we've developed a relationship with Oaks Farms. And Oaks Farms supplies, we do farmers markets for Sunday brunches, and we're doing some harvest dinners on the Great Lawn. And so, you know, we've just got this really great core team of people that have been doing this in Naples for a while.
Great. John, we're going to take a little short break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about I think the best golf course, or one of the best golf courses in Naples or even Florida.
That's great.
Okay?
Sure.
Selecting the right realtor is a critical decision that can earn you thousands when selling.
Jim sold our villa in just 2 days. We got the highest price in the community. He then helped us to negotiate and purchase our new home here in Tiburon. I'd recommend Jim. His expertise made all the difference.
Call Jim York for a no-obligation meeting at 239-273-6727 or visit his website, www.naplesyorkrealestate.com.
Welcome back, and John, I'd like to talk about one of my favorite parts of Talis Park. I've experienced it quite a bit. I think it's very unique for down here, and it is one of the best golf courses in town. So if you could just elaborate a little bit on
Sure.
On what makes Talis Park's golf course unique.
Well, it's kind of weird to talk about this, but I think it starts with the grass. It starts with this sea dwarf paspalum, and half the time we have to help people enunciate what the heck that is. But it comes out of Georgia, and it was designed for the Caribbean environment, actually. So it's a salt-tolerant grass. We do our tees, greens, and fairways in sea dwarf paspalum, and it's a very interesting collaboration. There's only 2 of these in the world where Greg Norman and Pete Dye actually got together and designed a golf course. So the Medalists on the East Coast and Talis Park are these 2 unique courses. And you know, we're just very vigilant that the sea dwarf needs to be pure. And others in the area have sea dwarf. We're not the only one, but it takes a real focus. And so when you have a guy like Kevin Shields watching over it, and he's the first guy there and often the last guy to leave every day, you know, we're very, very mindful of it. But the good news is a couple things. We built the golf course on about an extra 15 or 20 acres than most courses. So it's built on, I think it's 125 acres, and a lot of courses are maybe 90 to 100. And so it gives a little more runway, which we all need at times if we're not playing as much as we used to. The other thing that's nice is if you ever hit the ball a little sideways, a lot of times there's an orange grove or tangerine grove that you can get a little snack if you're careful. So it starts off with a really big wow. The first hole, you go down, and there's a lot of undulation to it, and there's this incredible palette of landscaping to your left and a waterfall or 2.
Absolutely.
So it kind of really sets the tone, and it's greener than green. I can't help describe it, but I grew up going to Augusta National when I was a kid, watching practice rounds, and I don't know, I'm not going to claim that we're quite Augusta, because that'd be a leap, but it's
Got
a
the
really,
Augusta green to it.
yeah, and it's manicured in such a way that you know you're on something a little bit different when you play there.
Absolutely, and you know, just for our viewers that, like you said, they may not play as often anymore, you know, just a little bit about the golf course and how you can play it for every level, really, of golf.
You really can. A lot of people think of Pete Dye and they think of railroad ties and these incredible carries. We got a couple, but not a lot. No railroad ties. But it's a very playable course. It's set up with many tees, so the whole Tee It Forward program is implemented there. So if you're a golfer of a 30 handicap or scratch, you play it back. There's plenty of challenge. You play from the member tees, and it's a very wonderful course to play. And what I like too is, and I mentioned it before, is if you go a little sideways, you likely are still going to be able to find your ball.
Yep.
And in a lot of places here, you don't go beyond the cart path because there's no telling what you're going to find. So that's part of it. So that's the golf course. I think a lot of it also is the golf operations and the way they make you feel when you come through there. We've got a really nice teaching facility as well.
That's right.
So at the end of the range, there's a short game practice area that people can enjoy, a private lesson tee up there. You hit Pro V balls at the
that's
tee.
not bad either.
And you know, I used to be a former college golfer, and it's fun to watch, you know, when you hit it just right, the ball will actually stop on the driving range. So it's pretty rare, and it's we're very proud of it. And it was quite an investment that was made. It's a big reason why people come. But we also limit our golf membership. We're going to have at the end of the day 623 front doors, but only 325 golfing members. And that's following in line with our buyers today. If we sold 10 new homes, half of them will be golfers, half of them will be coming for really just the social side. But we've also expanded something very important recently, which is we recognize that golf is key. A lot of people still play tennis, and a lot of people love this bocce game, you know. And so bocce is a wonderful social game that people enjoy at all ages. And so we, about a year ago, announced that we're going to do a sports campus, and we're actually in the process of building it right now. It'll be 6 tennis courts. It'll have a pro shop, and a tennis pro is going to drive our tennis program forward. And I would imagine on Friday evenings and Saturday evenings, the bocce experience is going to be pretty lively. So we're feeling like we're really rounding out the offering. And the great news for a property owner, if you walked in today, my amenities will be done before your home's going to be done.
Absolutely.
So all of our amenities get delivered at the end of this year, which we're very excited about. And we've got a ways to go. We still got about 400 properties still to sell. So having the amenities done even before I've reached a halfway point on my real estate offerings,
It's nice.
it gives everybody that peace of mind I think they're looking for in today's market, which is don't get out too far ahead of yourself and make sure, you know, the goodies are there.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well, John, I'd like to thank you for coming, and you know, I'm excited about your country club there, and hope you come back in the future and give us another update.
I would love to. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.